Hello and welcome to the Binge Thinker episode 72. My name is Jamil Raymond. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here as always. We keep punching on with this little mini series of my tech sales career and reminiscing on that. Just giving you the juice, giving you a bit of gossip, a bit of history. There's some great lessons to be learnt here for me to look back on. And for maybe for you to learn about business, technology, life, lessons. There are no separations between business and life. There are plenty of lessons to be learned for both. Before we do, I give you a little update on what's been going on with moi. I'm recording this basically the day before you should listen to this, dear listener. It's been a hectic fucking week. It's been a crazy weekend of getting the first session of Tech Sales OS out into the universe, into the hands of my proof of concept cohort. Man, it has been a big week of just pouring out this process, doing a huge draft, 168 slides to document my entire end-to-end tech sales process. Taught it in 3 different geographical locations remotely, which was fantastic. I think I hit about 5 or 6 different countries, which was really cool. A few people that couldn't make it to the first session. A few of them forgot, we'll be real. Didn't really keep it in their calendars, but that's okay. We'll give them the digital version of that. I think overall I've got about 9 countries all up in this proof of concept. So diverse, right? Wouldn't be, if I wasn't, pushing forward the diversity agenda. Can you believe I'm sober and I still fuck this up? It's just been a long day. It's been a long weekend. Yeah, of course I'm going to have a diverse range of views and perspectives just to show you what I'm teaching is universal, it works for everyone, and it is impactful no matter where you are. But man, teaching this 3 times, because I was trying to get it in the session done in 90 minutes, and it's very hard to explain 10 years of your best work condensed into 90 minutes to make it impactful and useful. So the feedback that I got from the cohort, great value, very useful. Everyone thought it was fantastic. Everyone thought that there was a lot of information, that I really mapped out the process of what it means to be a great tech seller end to end. Fantastic, good stuff. Complaints were, is dense. It was a lot of stuff and people had trouble paying attention, and I totally get it, right? It's very hard to put that all in once. I just had no other option to get it out into the universe and get it out into this first version to get their attention without doing this proof of concept and just bombarding them with information. Regardless, people enjoyed it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this first session. I'm gonna make it about 2 hours worth of content. It was about 90 minutes worth of content if I get that right, nice and aligned. I might add some more content to it based on the feedback that I've received about what more information that they want. I've also built out an operations manual, so it's like a written workbook on Google Docs, so you can keep that in your Google Docs files, have it as a tab open when you're working day to day, so you don't have to watch videos all the time to actually take the course in. You've got the cheat sheets and you've got the snippets right in front of you in your day job in case you need them whenever you're doing your work. That's a matter of convenience, right? And then what I've also done is created a personal CRM, which is a spreadsheet with a bunch of tabs of different ways to structure your business, how to manage your portfolio, how to ask the right questions, what sort of data you should be collecting about your customers. So you've got that information, so you've got that brain, right? That operating system, that's what I'm talking to you guys about, this sales operating system built in front of you, ready to go instead of having to rely on a bunch of shitty disparate systems that don't actually help you out. So this first 2 hours of the course, plus those 2 documents, I'm gonna sell that as a micro course, so that'll be $299. And that's basically, hey, here's my top 1% end-to-end process. Here's how you implement it. Go have fun. And then a bunch of people will go, hey, I want that. And they'll get it and they'll be like, this is cool. It's added a lot of value, but I want to understand these deeper concepts that he's talking about. It's pretty high level. That's the point. And then I upsell them into the full Tech Sales OS, right? So we just on-ramp customers into this structure over time. And look, exciting times. This is monk mode now. This is fry mode. Let me correct that. Fry mode. It's been extra tiring getting this out of me and pulling this out of my brain over the last week. And then, yes, having to teach it 3 times in 16 hours and have 5 hours of sleep between the sessions. By yesterday afternoon, I was just so fucking exhausted that, like, I think from like 2 p.m. onwards, I was just numb on the couch. You know, I had a little bit of help with that numbing. Taking a load off because it'd been a pretty hectic week and weekend. Carved up, enjoyed a little pasta, treated myself. It's been a lot of work and no play, and I just had a bunch of play. And that's why I'm recording this now on a Monday, because I was just so behind and just needed to veg the fuck out for a bit and get back into balance. Now I'm pretty much there, but now I've got to do catch-ups, right? So that's why this episode is probably going to be a little bit shorter than usual, because I'm a bit short on time. And I have to cram. I've got to deliver the next session by Saturday again, which will be a lot easier because it's a lot less slides to be dealing with, a lot less information to teach and process. So yeah, exciting times, lots of positive feedback. It's just good shit's happening. We are just going through the motions. I feel like we've gotten through the heaviest part of it because it is that process, and now I'm just sort of expanding and educating, and it's all just slide decks, right? I will do some live lessons and maybe some not in person, but just one-on-one videos as well, talking about communication and influence. So talking about things like the frame of influence, which is the frame of influence is the space between your belly button and your neck, where that's where you talk with your hands to add more influence and add more persuasion to the way you speak. A little tip for you there. But yeah, tired, but happy. Happy that we're here. I had that moment yesterday when I was just like trying to freshen up after a nice, beautiful hot day here in Melbourne, taking a shower to cool off. Looked at myself in the mirror and went, holy shit, man. Can you believe we're here? Can you believe we're in it? It's crazy, man. It's cool. Really, really, really cool. On some more positive news, I've decided to take a little break in April to go to Mexico. Go back to Mexico, man. Why am I going to Mexico? Matt Gray, who is basically I guess you call my mentor. I use his business coaching as part of Founder OS. And he's doing his mastermind in New Mexico City. Is that New Mexico City? No, it's just Mexico City, right? New Mexico is a state somewhere else. I don't know. It's in Mexico. So I figured, hey, why not treat myself? Hopefully by April, I should have a bit of cash coming in through the course being released. And fuck, haven't I at least goddamn earned a break? Man, I mean, I know I went to Hawaii a couple of months ago, but that was not a break. It was work, right? It was fucking work. You know, looking after my mother, trying to keep the peace. Not keep the peace, but try and keep an eye out for good content and for shots, and still trying to be present in the experience. It wasn't time to relax. And even though I'm going for a mastermind, I'm going to add a week in Chulam after New Mexico. Why do I keep calling it New Mexico? I'm pretty sure it's Mexico City. I should Google that, but I cannot be fucked. I'm going to go spend a week in Chulam, beautiful beachside town where all of the influencers are going to be. Maybe I'm part of that now, right? Technically, I'm an influencer. I prefer to call myself an educator or a creator. Maybe I'll go down there and get some, thought shots and some thirst traps. Maybe I should pick up a thought or two. I mean, hey, it would be nice. All work and no play, let me just say that. But yeah, exciting times. What else is going on? Oh, I locked in this this lecture series with a company called Main Sequence, who are what do they call it? They're the venture capital firm for the CSIRO. I think I might have talked about this a few weeks ago, but I finally locked that in. I'm going to teach a bunch of deep tech and science tech founders what the art of B2B sales is and how they can leverage what I know in their business to help their sales teams and develop their marketing and sales skills so they can get investors, sell their product into market, start making money and starting to show some return on these VCs investments that they've made. And it's really exciting stuff because, we talked about this last week. It's about technology for purpose. And if I can help enable an organization that's doing some cool shit in agriculture, in space, in IoT, and, the real future of transforming humanity, instead of just selling a bunch of fucking routers and a bunch of cables, that's some cool shit, right? That's some really cool shit. So very excited for that. Get to flex my presentation muscles a little bit, get to showcase some of my content and actually present that in public. And also, hopefully sell some versions of the course by the time I start doing that. The first version of the course should be out. So maybe, if I'm impressive and I know how to sell my shit, which I should by now, get a few more sales under the belt and it'll be worth it, right? Not that I say it wouldn't be worth it, but it'll be lucrative. Let's just say that, lucrative. So that's where I'm at for now. Don't have literally anything else going on in my life right now. It's just work. So that's what I can talk to you about is work, baby. That's the game. That's what we do. So getting back into the not torrid. Well, this is the torrid part of my career. We talked about Barry and Gary last week. Those two fuckwits. I still got that hate in my soul. Talked about them last week. And so what we're doing now, we're continuing the journey, right? So I had been dominating in previous episodes of my tech sales career. I had been dominating as an account executive, and I had Barry and Gary. Barry was the shit manager. Gary was the guy that pretty much broke me as a customer. And we've gotten to the end, we're getting close to the end of the sales year. And personally, this is a dark time in my life. This is where this is 2019. Okay, this is June, July 2019. End of the financial year in Australia is June 30. We know that there's a restructure coming inside Telstra. It's dark in there. The politics game is there. It's toxic as fuck. And yes, some shit is starting to happen. Personally, I am in my dark night of the soul. The major downswing in my life is starting to trickle forward and sort of come together. I'm slowly approaching this point in time where I'm with my ex, but I'm not happy, and we're planning to travel overseas together. I remember we went to Adelaide, or we went camping, and I just was not present. I could sense that I just wasn't happy. I wasn't present, and I could sense that she felt that as well. Right. But again, I thought I was just really fucking good at hiding it. But now looking back, I can remember that energy. I can remember that darkness that I was feeling inside and that constant weight within my soul. And there's not a chance in hell that I was not emanating that in some way outwards to the world. Right. So come end of FY 2018, we're starting with July 2019, I get fucking shafted by Barry, my manager. And how do I get shafted? Well, there's some of the big customers that I had inherited, Hassel, Save the Children, right? These are, and that other one that I'm not allowed to talk about because that guy's a fucking dick. These three customers, or at least two of them, Save and Hassel, have been put in my lap because they're senior account roles, right? They're senior account customers. They're spending a lot more than my customers were at the time. So he was giving these customers to me as a test. And he literally gave Save the Children to me on the condition that I would be next in line for a senior account executive promotion. This was my proving ground to him to go, hey, if you're ready, you can take this customer on. Realistically, he was handballing a fucking turd to me because he knew no one else could look after it under the guise of, yeah, if you do this, you will, he baited me, basically. Fucking dick. So it's during this time that 2 roles have opened up in his team. There are 2 senior account executive roles in the team. I'm just a regular account executive, it's a senior account executive role. And I'm like, well, surely I'm a shoo-in for one of these roles. Because again, they're vacant. They've been vacant for months. The business has not allowed him to fill it. Because again, they know that this restructure is coming, so there's changes in the air, but they need to fill the portfolio up because the customers are complaining, so the business makes a decision. All right, let's hire. So I go and I interview, I go through the process. I'm like, look what I've done with the customers. Look what you've given me these customers to work with. I think I've done, look at my numbers. I finished on 182% for sales that year. My second year as an account executive doesn't really get me much financially. I'll be real with you. It didn't really get me too much financially. If I did 182% at Cisco and it got me top 1% and I got to club. I did 182% at Telstra and I think I got like a few extra $1,000. I can't even remember how much extra money I got. It wasn't that much. Brutal. That just goes to show the power of putting in your efforts into the right place. You can work as hard as you want, but if it's in an area that's not going to give you the most return on your investment, then it's not worth it, right? That's why I've started my own job. Because if I'm capable of creating $35 million worth of value in the last 5 years, and I've gotten less than 1% of that, or maybe 1%? 1%. Yeah. A couple of percent from that. I could do a lot more in the future. Anyway, distraction. That's this podcast. So I go for the role, and of course there's other people applying for this role, but I'm like, surely, if he's given me these customers, I've done the work, numbers are killer, I should be positioned for this role. I should be getting one of these, which would be amazing. Turns out, the politics gets the better of and he hires 2 other people. Actually, there was 3 roles. That's right, there was 3 roles open in the team, right? 3 senior account executive roles open in the team. And what happens? He hires 2 other people, and then the business decides to shaft the 3rd one. And I will say, they hired 2 other women for the roles, and then cut the 3rd, right? I'm going to call this out, diversity quota, right? Sounds rough, might sound sexist, it's the fucking truth, okay? I understand exactly inherently, they're in tech sales, this is a male-dominated business. And diversity is starting to really come into fruition in 2019, and we're talking about diversity in the workplace and hitting quotas and all this sort of stuff. I know for a goddamn fact that that was the point. And actually, I found out after the fact that Barry, or Gary, whatever his fucking name is, one of the reasons why he didn't hire me is because if he hired me, he couldn't backfill my position, and he needed someone to fill the seat. So for covering his ass, he chose his ass to cover it instead of fulfilling the promise that he made to me, basically. And then also, couldn't manage women. Fuck, I can't say his name again. Gary, whatever his fucking name is, doesn't know how to manage women. On the back foot as a manager, nobody likes him. There's no other women in the team. Maybe there's one. So he's got to hire that way, right? Now, I am devastated. I am furious that this has happened because he's fucking dogged me, right? Fortunately, he got made redundant through these changes and took a package. Good fucking riddance, okay? But the politics, the toxicity in there got me. I'm a victim of it. I don't know if that's politically correct to say. I don't give a fuck. That's the reality, right? Now, to be honest, I tell my female mentees to leverage that, to leverage the fact that they are a minority in a male-dominated environment. There are quotas to hit. You leverage that to your advantage, ladies, because where else is it, in the rest of the planet and the rest of society, it kind of sucks to be a woman. There's plenty of challenges to be a female in society. So why wouldn't you leverage diversity to your advantage? I do it, right? I did it when I ran the queer gig because I know that the pink dollar is lucrative and it's good for the business, okay? Doesn't mean I'm denigrating the people or the culture. It's about leveraging the strengths where they work. Anyway, I just feel a little bit, it's good business. It's a net positive for everyone. It's good for the individual, for them to feel empowered when their identity usually is a negative thing. It just feels dark and politically incorrect to say, but it's the truth, and I'll put it out there, right? Also not the first time that I've been pushed aside even though I was more qualified than the other candidates because I was a dude. Happened to me twice. Once inside Telstra and another time inside Cisco. To be honest, the Cisco one didn't bother me. I didn't really want the role after a while anyway, because I realized how much better it is to work in the DC space because it's way less work for the better pay. But diversity quotas, they're there, right? They are there. Anyway, I get shafted by Gary, whatever his fucking name is. And I'm cut, man. I'm cut. And people can sense it. I'm furious. This restructure is happening. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. It's this classic corporate bullshit. Toxic culture, every man for themselves, gossip, no definition from the leadership. They're just, it's fucked. So as part of this restructure, I get pushed from an account executive role to a client executive role. And it sounds nicer in theory, but essentially what they've done is they've pushed me into an inside sales role. So I'm no longer the salesperson in the business in my portfolio. I am now purely the admin bitch and pure account management. And instead of having my technical offsider, which I usually had, my TSS, who was a great guy for 2 years that I had named Brett, great dude, we're still good friends to this day. So I would be the account manager, find the deals, hunt them down. He would technically validate and add depth to the conversation, and together we would design a solution and give it to a partner. So we had a great partnership that I just was there, bringing him into stuff that was necessary. And yeah, we did some great numbers and had some great customers together. Good times. But now, so that was the old structure. The new structure is there's a pure account manager, and then there is a pure general salesperson and a pure BDM. So I've been moved into this account management role, again, politics, right? You think you've got a choice in your career path sometimes, but you don't, and you've just got to do what the corporation says. And this is where it starts to really irk me, and this is the first planting of the seeds of fuck this company, right? And so I get shafted to the side. I've still got my customers. My responsibilities have not changed. I've kept most of my customers. I've got all my big customers. I'm still selling and managing them like they're a key customer. To them, to the big customers that I've had, nothing's really changed because I'm like, whoa. The BDM's name is Alex. But he's based in fucking Bendigo, which is like a couple of hours away because he's regional. So any of the customers that are in the city and central Melbourne, and any of the customers that I was holding on to and were my customers that I kept in the transition because I owned the relationship, nothing's really changed. There's just another guy in Whoop Whoop that's selling to the regional customers, and we have a combined target. Anyway, so I've got to adjust to this. I'm shafted by the business, even though I've worked so hard, even though I'm killing it with my customer base, even though I've just gotten my first case study with Mari Stopes published with Nutanix, right? And yeah, I'm like, how the fuck could I be doing this well, numbers-wise, performance-wise, and then just be shafted? Plus, my life is in a bit of a shambles, right? Because I'm eating at this anxiety, and I know that I'm being shitty to people in public and just being, just like, this is fucked. So I know that my image in the politics and politically, I'm probably a bit radioactive at the time. Definitely, right? I get it. Bit of a low period. But now, one of the great things that does come out of this, and one of the highlights of my career and what gave me and planted the seed for when I thought I could be, I could really make something for myself here, was the Culture Champions program. And this is where I became a top 1% leader, a cultural leader inside Telstra Enterprise. So as part of this restructure, Telstra Business becomes Telstra Enterprise. We're part of the enterprise business now. So that's a business of 7,000 employees at the time. Very big, right? Australia's biggest ICT provider. 7,000 employees, includes the service delivery. It includes the offshore teams. So it's a big business unit. Basically, all the big companies, the defense, government, everything is at enterprise, all the big boys. So I'm at the tail end of enterprise. We get this new executive director. He owns the enterprise business. His name's Mike Abid. Mike has come from SBS, used to work at Optus, and great guy, great energy, genuine leader, also a gay, right? So at the time, being a senior leader in a business while being gay, very, very uncommon. Great for him, great ambassador of the cause, right? But yeah, he starts with this new leadership that he brings in. He brings in this new initiative called the Culture Champions, where he's trying to develop cultural leadership and have leadership within the organization and find out who they are. Now, you can apply for this program, but they will vet you based on what they know about you and your business and how you've worked inside Telstra. Now, naturally, I'm like, hey, I'm a high performer. I've been doing stretch projects for some time now. I was doing this thing called an NPS lead. So I was sitting in a program of work with the customer satisfaction team, and basically trying to interpret data, see how we can improve NPS initiatives inside the organization to improve our NPS scores, because we were remunerated on our NPS scores personally. So part of my role as an account executive, yes, there was sales, but obviously there's a service part. And if they're not happy with the service, they're not going to buy from you. So how we would get remunerated, part of our commission would be based on getting an NPS score out of the customer every year. And how that works, NPS, the Net Promoter Score, is 0 to 6, you're a detractor, 7 to 8, you're a passive, and then 9 to 10, you're an advocate. And the idea behind that, if you're an advocate of the brand, customers are speaking, they're talking to others about your good service, they're very satisfied with who you are and would recommend you to others. So I was pretty good with my NPS because, again, I'm personable, I'm transforming relationships, I had a good average for NPS. You can't win everybody over, but I was pretty good to being on target for NPS or exceeding it, for most of my career. Now, the problem with that is that system can be gamed, and a lot of people were gaming the system, but I will not get into that. But because I'd been contributing to the NPS program, I'd always was invested in customer service programs and uplifting the customer experience. And most of my strengths were in servicing a customer and creating great relationships as a result of that. I applied and I got into the program, which was pretty cool. What that program had turned out to be, they were the senior leadership team inside Telstra Enterprise handpicked the top 150 contributors and leaders inside the organization to be part of the special leadership culture program. We were going to run culture initiatives to try and implement new cultural initiatives inside the business. Pretty cool stuff. So, this is different. It's interesting for me. It's only been in big boy business land for 3 or 4 years. I feel like I'm rubbing shoulders with the big guys now, right? I'm starting to work my way up. And actually, we were put, as part of this program, we're put into these cohorts so the cohort's 150, and then we've got these smaller cohorts, just call them groups we're in teams. That's a better fucking word for it, the most basic word. Teams of, I think, like 8 to 10 people. And the idea is that we have to formulate a cultural initiative, and we develop it and present it to the team, to the collective, and the best initiative is voted by the people, gets implemented in company-wide, or at least all the way through Telstra Enterprise. I'm like, this is pretty cool. And then in my cohort, I'm the most junior member of the team by seniority and probably by age as well. Actually, a fair bit by age. I must have, because I was 28, 29 at the time. And most of these people, I was definitely the most junior. So I'm an account executive in the mid-market, And people in my team are the head of the general manager of the defense, right? He runs the Australian defense account. He's the manager of that. That's a hundreds of millions dollar account. I've got the head of service delivery for Australia Post. I've got leaders that are managing enterprise sales teams, right? And senior BDMs that have been doing technology sales for like 20, 30 years, right? So these are all seniors inside Australia's biggest ICT brand. And so, we get flown to Sydney, which is nice, which is the only flight that I got in 7 years of being there compared to Cisco's, in 2 years. Can't even remember it now. Nice flight to Sydney, hanging out with some of my colleagues, getting to know the team, which was a lot of fun. And this team's great because they're all passionate individuals. They want to be engaged. This is something that's new and different for the organization. They're keen to impress the new executive director. And, I'm starting to really shine as an individual here because I'm personable. I'm affable, even though, and I am passionate about this as well. And I've got good energy around it. And my ability, I think, I was doing stand-up at this time. So I don't mind getting up. I don't mind getting up and talking to people. I'm pretty bulletproof when it came to presenting. And I remember I went to do a little presentation inside the culture program. I threw a joke out. Everyone laughed. Mike Abed remembered me. And I was like, ooh, that's nice that he thought, he really, took a shine to what I did. And I really got to know this cohort of people, great bunch of blokes and ladies. And they actually chose me to be the leader of the cohort, which I thought was really cool, considering that I was the most junior person on the team. And that was the first time that I'd really had a high degree of responsibility put into my hands by others, I guess. I don't know what to put, but basically, I felt like I was rising to the occasion of something that seemed like that was big to me, something that I really valued. And the fact that these people, these really nice people, were, going, hey, you've got some good emerging leadership skills. Why don't you run this program and we'll follow your lead and see what's going on? And I was like, great, this is awesome. So we came up with this initiative. Basically, we were trying to install something called a retrospective into the business. A retrospective is used by agile methodologies. It's used by software developers to look back on what the bugs are, look at the processes that they've improved, and look at their own processes. It's a retrospective. So look back, what can we improve, what can we do better? And putting these retros into basically deals, right? You do a retrospective when you win a big deal, when you lose a big deal. You basically want to take the learnings and share them with the rest of the organization so they don't make the same mistakes. And you would think that seems like one-on-one shit in an organization, a sales organization, but it's not. It's really not, which is fucking ridiculous, right? And that's, again, one of the things like, if I had my own business and had my own sales team, I would be doing shit completely different, right? But the most fundamentals of sales ideas just not implemented. Fucking frustrating. Anyway, we go through this program. We're catching up fortnightly. We're having great chats as a team. We're getting to know each other. And it's just a good team culture. And we get to the presentation of it. And what else do I need to mention here? Oh, yeah. So this started probably like August, September 2019 that this program started. And I broke up with my ex November 2019. Right, so I went to Sydney. I know that, in my gut that I've really got to make some changes. It's a dark period, but this seems to be the only bright thing that's happening in my life at the time. Go to Sydney, come back, break up with my ex. And so whilst we're building this program over like 3 or 4 months, actually 6 months plus, it's close to a year that we did this, right? Because it's a stretch project. We don't have to put a lot of energy into it. By the time we had come to the presentation and the end of the program in June, in that time between September and June, I've had the epiphany, I've invested in Nikita, and the lockdowns have started in Australia, in Melbourne. So we're all locked down, everyone's getting by, everyone's, commiserating together about the lockdowns and how crazy life is at the moment. And the program wraps up in June. And what they were doing at the end of the program is they gave out leadership awards for, great work as part of the program, standout work. And I got the leadership award, or I was one of 7 that got the leadership award in the leadership program. And I was like, wow, that's fucking crazy. And that was voted on by my peers. So my team voted for me, and then I suppose other people had voted for me that had recognized that I was contributing and really leaning in. And yeah, to be one of those 7 and getting a leadership award inside a leadership program that is literally being held by Telstra Enterprises' senior leadership team, that's fucking cool to me, right? And that's where I got my top 1% for cultural leadership and my top 1% leadership claim to fame and what I put out there in when I market this course. And it's not just about the leadership, that award, but it was certainly the seed of what pushed me to start developing things and really take some more initiative in my life. Because over the 12 months that would come after that, I would really supercharge my sales capabilities and what I was doing in market. Like, this seemed to have triggered off some pretty big stuff for me, this award, because I got a buzz in the business and I was handed some stretch projects, which I'll explain in next week's episode, because I want to put this in the different batches of time periods. But what's even crazier, right? This is the start of the transformation. This is the start of my spiritual awakening. This is the start of the journey. And this was the first major synchronicity in my life, is that on the same day that I got that leadership award, I remember sitting in my Footscray apartment by myself. It was Thursday afternoon, right? It's June. So we're neck deep in the lockdowns, right? I've gotten fucking shredded. It's the first time I've gotten lean and properly lean and healthy in my life. The same day that Nikita was like, we've done it, mate, you're transformed, I get the leadership award, right? The fact that I had gotten from Nikita going, mate, you've done it, congratulations, look what we've done. The dieting is over, the transformation, hard work is done. You can go enjoy your life, have a refeed. This has been fantastic work over the last, I think it was 14 or 15 weeks. So to finally have conquered myself and the first time I've truly believed in what I could do for myself to transform my physical body, and finally doing that work after 29 years of bullshitting myself about getting fit and actually getting there. And the same day, I get this seed planted that I could be, a great leader in a big organization like that. That's special to me, right? That's a beautiful synchronicity in my life. That really, it did inspire me. It inspired me to do more, and I'm very grateful to Mike in that program. Unfortunately, Mike would leave soon after that program ended because there was another restructure coming and it was not good, and I don't think he was the right person to be part of that. I think when he walked into the business, he was going to be part of a transformation and an evolution of Telstra Enterprise and take it a leap forward. The reality was, and this is some looming juice and sizzles for the next time, it was about to get much darker inside Telstra, and I don't think he was the right person for the job, so he fucked off basically within 12 months of being there, right? But I'll tell you what, one of the best lessons that I got from that program that I think about today when it talks about leadership, and again, I have to thank Mike for this, is that he put this video out as an example. He put this video up of being the weirdo. And what it is, I should try and find it. It's this video at a music festival, and there's a guy on a hill, and he looks pretty cooked, but he is dancing to some music, and he's just by himself. He's in the field, he's sitting on the hill, And there's people around it, but they're not anywhere near close to him. So this guy's just being a fucking weirdo, dancing, having fun completely on his own. But he's loving what he's doing, right? He's vibing. You can tell that he's full on into it, and he's dancing in his own little weird way, and it's cool to watch. And then eventually, maybe it's a joke, maybe not, people start to join him. They're like, this guy is doing some cool shit. I like this guy's vibe. He's having some fun. We're at a festival. I'm going to go dance with this guy. And then some other people start following him. And they join around him. It's like 3 people that are just like, yeah, this guy, pretty cool. And then the crowd eventually just gets bigger. And people are like, this looks fun. I'm going to be part of this. And then more people come in and more people come in. And then it gets to a point where it becomes critical mass. And then there's like 30 people, 40 people from this festival all just dancing around this dude, having a great old time. And the lesson there is to be the weirdo. And you have to embrace dancing on your own in the middle of the fucking emptiness for a little while and just dance and put your vibe out there. And if you do that long enough, and if you believe in what you're doing, you put the right vibe out, people will find you. People will align with you. They will seek, they will feel your vibe, and they'll be attracted to you, and they'll be part of it as well. And that's really, the most bold part of leadership is to put yourself out there, uniquely yours. What do you believe in? What is your individual take on life, on this massive existence that we have? And do you dare to take the lead on that and put your vibe out there and create that beacon that people are attracted to and will come towards? And the answer is yeah, you have to do that, right? And that message for me has resonated. It's stuck. And every time I think about my own leadership and taking a bold step forward and doing my own thing, I think about that, right? I think about that a lot. And it's in my mind when I do that, I'm like, I have to just be that fucking weirdo for a minute and lean the fuck in and do my thing, and people will vibe with it and they'll come find me. And I can tell you now, folks, it's working, right? I've been doing the tech sales stuff for a minute now. I had the similar vibe when I put it out for ACN, right? Is that when I did Aussie Comedy Network, I put my message out there. This is what I'm doing. This is the vibe. This is the agenda. And people took to it. I remember having about 30 or 40 people, or maybe less, I can't remember, but I had a bunch of comics who were like, yes, this is fucking great. Let me be a part of this. Right? I did get a very culty sort of feel to it. And I'm getting a similar culty feel with Tech Sales Academy and the first cohort of people, right? I have to put myself out there. I'm putting out the vibe. People are attracted to it. They want to be a part of it. And the vibe is the tribe, right? And you need to be bold enough to transmit your vibe out into the world. And I know I've probably talked about this quote previously, but I'm going to talk about it again. Let me try and find it. Jung Work Con. Sorry, one sec. Here it is. This quote by Carl Jung, or Jung, whatever it is, Jung. It is, no matter how isolated you are and how lonely you feel, if you do your work truly and conscientiously, unknown friends will come and seek you. And that's what this journey feels like right now. And it's beautiful, right? I've seen this happen a couple of times now with the things that I've done. And when you put your vibe out there, it attracts the tribe. And that's really what this course is going to be, right? Is that I just transmit my information, my message out. I put that on social media, which is an infinite scale tool. And then people are already buying the course without even really talking to me, because what I'm putting out there is their vibe. And I have to risk being a weirdo to do that. And that's a great lesson in leadership. I want to reach out to Mike, and I probably will at some point once the course is done, to talk to him about that. And yeah, that's a great lesson for anyone else out there that's thinking about doing their own thing and taking that bold step forward, right? You have to be the weirdo. You have to risk being out there, dancing on your own for a minute, and just take that leap, because if it works, it's worth everything, right? It's worth everything. Even now, working hard, 60, 70 hours a week, been doing it for the last 2 years, all to hone and create my own vibe and put it out there, to find these unknown friends, create a community of growth, ambitiousness, you know? It's amazing. It's a great feeling. And I hopefully, can pass that lesson on to you, dear listener. Get out there, be weird, be you, and you'll find plenty of people just like you along the way. And on that beautiful note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it there for this week. Next week, we keep talking about the craziest year of my second craziest year of my tech sales career, my last year at Telstra, the year I got made redundant despite a whole bunch of other cool shit happening, right? In the meantime, if you love what I'm doing, share it with a friend. Plugs, techsales.academy, pre-sale on now, selling, already moving. Get on it, motherfuckers, because I've just put the first part out and I know this is going to be sick. Tech Sales Academy pre-sale on now. Check out the newsletter for Tech Sales Academy, Top 1% Club. I just put out my second newsletter yesterday about Pareto's Principle, how you can apply that to your life and your tech sales career, and about how diet is the Pareto's Principle of physical transformation. You cannot out-train a shitty diet. I've published my diet system to the good people for nothing, feeding that medicine to make them 1% better every day. Hopefully you are too. That's it for now, people. Like and share, subscribe. Love yous all. See you next week.